Let's talk to Melissa Chau. She's a research manager with IDC's Asia Pacific Client Devices team. She joins us from Singapore. Melissa, were you underwhelmed?
Well, I mean, everyone has certain expectations of what Apple's going to do. You're not going to meet all of them. So I think, in my point of view, it was kind of expected. They don't ever really sit on the bleeding edge of technology for hardware, but it's really, services. That's really what they've been doing very well and what keeps people in the Apple ecosystem.
Is that the right focus? Is this going to be a must-have for consumers? Are they going to rush out and upgrade their existing iPhone 4s?
Well, if you think about people with, say, a 2-year upgrade path, so all the 3GS users, sure, I think that would be, a pretty good choice for them. It's more a question of, will the iPhone 4 users change? I mean, the main difference is the Siri service. I don't know if that's enough to pull them over, but
the Siri service,
at least for 3GS, I think that's compelling.
Is voice recognition. Just tell us a bit more about that. Is this going to really get people using voice recognition? Because this is Apple's thing, right? They take existing technologies that are out there and they improve them to such a degree that they become used by the mainstream.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, voice recognition has been around. It's not, again, anything that Apple has invented themselves, but what they're doing is bringing it to the mass market. If anyone can do it, it will be Apple. However, I do think, coming from an Asian standpoint, you're around on the subway, I don't know if I want people to see that I'm trying to make a search for, I don't know, some kinds of clothing or whatever. It's just not something that, I guess, as a privacy thing, that voice is that interesting to me personally.
Right. It might be better utilized by those that are driving in their 4x4s in the States and need directions. I get that. What about the cloud, the iCloud storage service? Is that going to really enhance the user experience?
Yeah, I mean, that is the direction of the future, I think, for all smartphones, not just from Apple. I mean, Google's already taken steps towards that as well. So, especially with more video content, more music, with more people on data plans, this actually makes a lot of sense to be going in that direction. And I think they are making it much more accessible to the mainstream user.
When we look at competition, are these the kind of enhancements that are going to keep Apple ahead of the game? They're currently the single biggest seller of smartphones. How long is it going to be able to maintain that position?
Well, the funny thing is, in ecosystems, once you get in, it's really hard to get out. So considering that they've, kind of gained a pretty decent lead so far, I think they'll at least be able to maintain a pretty strong user base. Now, there will be still some who are going to go into Android as well. What the Android players can do that Apple doesn't is that they're constantly refreshing their hardware. So they can always have bigger screens, faster processors. This is happening from multiple parties, throughout the year. And that is kind of attractive too.
This is because there are different carriers, or different handset manufacturers using the Android software. Who represents the single biggest competition, the steepest competition for Apple right now?
Well, Samsung definitely comes to mind. They're really both at the high end and at the low end. They've got Android devices that are, as low as US $200, all the way up to these, Galaxy S2 ones that can compete very easily head-to-head on hardware specs, at least.
All right. Melissa Chau from IDC Asia Pacific. She's a research manager there. Thanks very much for being with us.